Do you want a nice house but you don't have infinite amount of money? Today I am sharing 5 frugal living DIYs to upgrade your house today. If you're new around here, welcome. I'm Lena. I make money at home videos, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. These are DIYs that I can actually do myself, as you will see, because I have done all of these, and I am not a CrossFit athlete. I am not an athlete at all, honestly, and my husband worked in construction, and he can do a lot more things than I can, but that's not necessarily relevant for the average person. So I wanted to share with you things that you could actually do no matter your background or strength level. So first off is fill the holes in your trim. This is a new skill that I just learned, and it's not as bad as you would think, even though it's kind of gross and tacky. I just wear a glove to fix that problem. So maybe someone installed trim for you. I am not comfortable with a saw that big, but I can fill the holes myself now, and then I just wait for it to dry, and then I can paint over it, and I'll show you that a little bit later. Maybe I'm not doing this the official way. I'm just squeezing it out of the tube and then putting it on my finger and then putting it on the trim. Maybe you're supposed to put it right onto the trim itself, but I don't like doing it that way, so this is just how I'm doing it. And it's nice if you can kind of smooth it out a little bit at the end, which can be really hard on your finger if you have delicate fingers like me, and that's why I'm wearing the glove. And coming in at number 4 is painting. If you have ever gotten a bid for painting, oh my goodness, I think it's like $300 a room is kind of like an industry standard. And I haven't gotten a ton of quotes for painting because I just always do it myself. But it's a skill that can be learned. YouTube, of course, is my favorite place to learn all of these skills, but the more you paint, the better you can get at it. I guess my main advice for cutting in is that you only put paint on one side of the brush. I never use painter's tape to cut in. For me, it often doesn't end up being a cleaner line at all, so it's not worth it, and then you have to throw away all that tape, which is kind of a drag. So you can see I just load the brush on one side and I kind of give it a little tap to make sure that there's not too much extra so that I don't drip on my carpet. The third frugal living DIY is change outlets. This is also a new skill for me, and I learned this on YouTube. So you YouTube search how to change an outlet, and then you can change it. You know, like the 3-prong outlets. I have learned a lot while I've been doing this. I didn't actually get any video of this skill because the children were being very all over me. And you can't really see in the dark because you have to turn the breaker off when you're changing the outlet. Okay, so one of the most important things when you're changing the outlet is to make sure there's no power going to the outlet. So if you have a kid, you probably have a sound machine. I just discovered this, but I could have saved so much time. Okay, so you have to locate your breaker box and turn off the correct breaker, but it's kind of hard to figure out which one that is. So you plug the sound machine into the outlet that you want to change. You turn it up on high, and then you go across the house to the breaker box, and then you listen. You turn off one, and you're like, did it turn off? And if it did, then you found the right one, or you can keep trying until you find the breaker that controls that outlet, which, brilliant. I never thought of that. I was using a lamp, which means every single time I tried one breaker, I had to go and see if the light had turned off. But with the sound, you can hear it all the way across the house. The other thing I really wish I would have known about changing outlets is that you can put more than one wire on one of the screw outlets, posts things. I don't know what they're actually called. I thought it was just like one to each one and then you're done. But I discovered that the hard way with a light switch. It might be a while until I try another light switch because I messed that one up pretty good. But thankfully, my husband could come and fix it for me later. But I have successfully done the 3-prong outlets, lots of those. I've done like 4 of those now. So I think I'm going to stick with that because that's the main thing. So if you're thinking about what you want to start with the 3 prongs and not the light switch. And the number 2 Frugal Living DIY is cleaning carpets. So we are moving to a new house and I wanted to clean all the carpets before we moved in, and I'm very glad because the carpets have been so disgusting. So we already had our own carpet cleaner, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description for you guys of my favorite one. This is a relatively new one for us because the motor in our old carpet cleaner died on us. So this is a fairly new carpet cleaner to us because our old one, the motor died and it would have cost us quite a bit of money to fix it, which was totally a drag. But we ended up going to our local Fred Meyer here and picking up this Hoover, and I think this is my most favorite one that I've had so far. It's about $100, which is not too much. Like if you rent one of those rug doctors, well, one, you have all the grossness of whatever everyone else was vacuuming with theirs. And then I think it's like $40 a day. And so if you need to rent that more than 3 times or for more than 3 days, you've already afforded your own carpet cleaner. The other thing I love about this Hoover is that it's so light. This video is not sponsored, but the lightness is so helpful. And even though it doesn't store as much water, it just makes it so much easier to clean your carpets and so much less of a drag because like it's not such a big arm workout. You're just kind of, you know, walking behind the vacuum. Like it probably weighs the same amount as my Shark vacuum. I also wanted to show you what I do in the solution part. I make my own thing, and of course I don't measure, so there's no magic recipe for this. So you can see this disgusting water that comes out after each batch. So I just empty the gross water into the sink, and then the solution that I put in there, I put in some hydrogen peroxide. You can get lots of this at Costco for very inexpensive. And then I put some white vinegar in there. Then I fill it up with warm tap water, as hot as you can get your tap water, but don't boil it. I've made that mistake. If you put boiling water in your machine, it can actually melt the inside plastic parts of your carpet cleaner. And then you put some Dawn in there. Don't put too much of this or you'll get a little bit too bubbly. And that's it. I've made my own carpet cleaning solution for very inexpensive. I'm cleaning my carpets myself. I remember as a kid, once in a while we would get our carpets professionally cleaned and we had to like move everything. It was this huge deal and I'm sure it was quite expensive. This way you can clean your carpets whenever you feel like it. Whenever your baby erps all over the floor, you can just whip it out, just clean the carpet, and then you'll know for sure that it's clean. And, you know, if you're like me and you've got lots of allergies, this can really help keep those allergens down. Because there's no way we could afford to have our carpets professionally cleaned every 6 months, but this enables us to have our carpets cleaned quite often. Also, because the carpet cleaner lives at your house, you can do one room at a time, move a little bit here, move a little bit there, because there's no time constraints on how long you've rented the rug doctor for or how long the carpet people are going to be there. And the number 1 Frugal Living DIY is stenciling. Okay, so we got this new house. We're going to put an Airbnb in there. Just like our current house, we have an Airbnb in there. I have a whole Airbnb playlist if you want to go check it out. But, so the new house is going to have an Airbnb. The bathroom is so small. So, I wanted to make the bathroom special, so I was thinking I was going to put wallpaper up there. I was researching the wallpaper and it was really expensive, and then you have to buy the putty, and it's a pain to put up wallpaper, and you have to do it just right, or you have to start over. It's just like, ugh, maybe not. So then I was thinking, what if I did a stencil instead? So I bought a stencil off of Amazon. I think it was about $35 for this stencil. And I was like, it'll kind of look like wallpaper. It'll be way cheaper. And if I mess it up, I can just paint over it. So this is a wallpaper-like upgrade without all the hassle of wallpaper and much less expensively. And you can use this stencil as many times as you want and cover a lot of square footage with one stencil. Okay, I gotta show you my first fail. This is what happens when you put too much paint on your roller. Look at that poor bunny's ear. It doesn't really exist. Okay, I got impatient and I went too fast and I put too much paint on my roller and I kind of pushed it. That was very, very silly of me. Yes, so then I had to paint over it a million times to get that vibrant blue out. So as of this moment, the wall isn't completely finished. I'm going to show you the most completed picture that I have. So I redid that first piece and painted over it with white again. And then I started again at the bottom. And I'm really liking the way it turns out. And you can also like touch it up a little bit if you want it to be a little smoother. Or a little bit shinier on the edges, and I'm really loving how it's looking, and it looks fancy and different so that the bathroom will have this little pop of color that will feel special. My stencil advice is buy the spray adhesive and put it on after every single time you put it on there, and be patient and relaxed while you're putting on your stencil, which is not really me. I'm like, okay, let's get this done as fast as possible. Stenciling doesn't really work that way, unfortunately, and then don't have any paint on your roller when you're doing it, which is not fun either. This is not my all-time favorite thing, but it looks great, so I'm happy that that's working out. What is a home DIY that you feel comfortable doing? Leave that for us in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.